Gaza is 90,000 acres. Right? That's how big it is. Disney World, by contrast, is 25,000 acres. Right? That's pretty big. A lot of Americans have a sense of how big Disney World is. The Woodlands development in Texas is 28,000 acres. So it's bigger than Disney World. But the villages where the old folks live in Central Florida, that's 35,000 acres. So Gaza is 3 times the size of the villages. And you say, well, that's just undoable. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. The Irvine Ranch, when they started developing it, was 100,000 plus acres. And it was the combination of 3 Mexican land grants. And the Irvine Company went through a couple of ownerships. It's now owned by Donald Bren. He's done a magnificent job on building it. He put a university on it, University of California, Irvine. He put Fashion Island on it. It's just an amazing part of Southern California. And I think it was Mobil owned it first and then Bren did. But it takes a long time. There are master plan communities all over the United States. Can Gaza be a master plan community? Not with Hamas. Absolutely not with Hamas. Now, Donald Trump has been thinking about Gaza a long time. I want to go back to my program in October when I interviewed then candidate President Trump, and Gaza came up cut number 5. Mr. President, you're a developer, so I want to talk to you about Gaza. I worked with land use developers for 35 years when I was actively practicing law. You know how to build things. Gaza is in ruins. Could Gaza be Monaco if it was rebuilt the right way? Could someone make Gaza into something that all the Palestinian people would be proud of, would want to live in, would benefit them?
It could be better than Monaco. It has the best location in the Middle East, the best water, the best everything. It is the best. I've said it for years. When I've been there, and it's rough. It's a rough place before all of the attacks and before back and forth, what's happened over the last couple of years. And I said, wow, look at this. I mean, they'd have the back of a plant facing the ocean. They'd have there was no ocean as far as that was concerned. They never took advantage of it. As a developer, it could be the most beautiful place. The weather, the water, the whole thing, the climate, it could be so beautiful. It could be the best thing in the Middle East, but it could be one of the best places in the world. And, there are other civilizations. I don't know if you know this. It's crazy, but that's been a rough neighborhood. That's been a rough place. Underneath that are 2 other civilizations where they were wiped out and they started over and they build on top. It's amazing. I mean,
do you think your partners?
That's been a very contentious area for a long time. I can tell you that.
Can you get the Abraham Accords going again and get your partners like UAE, Bahrain, and possibly Saudi to help you, and Egypt to help you in Gaza if you're president again, to rebuild it the right way and get rid of the fanatics?
Yeah, so I'll tell you, I think not only the Abraham Accords, the Abraham Accords is one of the great things that's ever happened in the Middle East. That should be loaded up with everybody right now. And, I made the statement the other day. People said, I would have gotten, in my opinion, 50-50 chance, maybe more than that. Iran would have been in the Abraham Accords. They wanted to make a deal so bad until we had
then we're off and talking about Iran. I want you to know, we have talked about Gaza before that. He's been thinking about, he's a land guy. Of course he's thinking about the land in the Mediterranean. Yesterday he does a joint press conference with Prime Minister Netanyahu, and he says cut number 3.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area. Do a real job, do something different. Just can't go back. If you go back, it's going to end up the same way it has for 100 years.
All right. That's true. More than 100 years. Napoleon committed an atrocity. Napoleon ordered the execution of prisoners in Gaza 210 years ago. So it's not like it's going to change anytime soon. I don't know how many civilizations have been there. I heard John Podhoretz on the Commentary podcast say that was the home of the Philistines. I don't know. All I know is that I have humility about what can be done, except as to the fact that you can't rebuild with terrorists in place. I'm not humble about that. That is a fact. And Douglas Murray wrote about it yesterday. Begin there.